Welcome back to the LEC ahead of our fourth match of the day. The undefeated Fnatic facing off against Misfits Gaming. Now, this is a rematch of the Summer 2021 playoffs where Fnatic eliminated Misfits from World's contention. But I have an interesting quick stat for you. Misfits have beaten Fnatic in all 4 regular season matches of 2021. And frankly speaking, Fnatic are undefeated against pretty weak opponents. BDS, Vitality, SK, Astralis. For the first time, Fnatic are coming up against a real squad in Misfits. And I think it's going to be a test for Fnatic.
Not that unreasonable. I think that's a very fair thing to say.
Not the response I was expecting. I
think that when you listed through those teams, you made a very valid argument. The truth is, Fnatic's early game has been a little bit debatable. They've had some good early games and some not so good early games. And I think that there were some games that were losable. This one in particular, I think that this was Vitality very clearly overextending and giving Fnatic a way back into the game. So while I definitely think Fnatic is a good team, you can sing their praises to high heavens, especially their bot lane that just continues to perform. This is a team that's still yet to really be pushed and tested, and I think that Misfits, based on what we've seen so far, could be the team to do just that.
And I think I do have to give some credit to Fnatic as well, because despite being behind in some games, they have shown a grit and ability to come back.
Yeah.
Of course, their opponents, Misfits, fantastic game yesterday. Mersa in particular had a game-changing Leona play. What's your take on, first of all, this clip, and then Misfits as a team?
I mean, I did this clip on the Telestrator, but from the receiving end of XL. When it comes to the side of Misfits, I thought it was a fantastic read. Nuktak on the side could have ended Misfits right there and then. And I think Mersa flashing in, immobilizing them. And then that beautiful ultimate to get 3 people stunned to the Gwen ults, I think was the game changer for that particular fight.
I mean, it really was. As you see Misfits cleaning this one up, they managed to sit near the top of the tables. Let's talk a little bit about one of the stories in this matchup. It is, of course, Razork versus his old team. So some personal spice there too, Trouble.
Okay, so when Razork was in Misfits, he used to live in his opponent's jungle a lot of the time, which is where a lot of his deaths came from. I remember that because I did a segment last year. Now, Shlatan coming into this equation, now playing for Misfits, replacing Razork, is very protective of his jungle creeps. So I can't wait to see if Razork is going to look to take things away from Shlatan and how Shlatan is going to react to that. Are they going to play in different parts of the map, or are they going to clash heads?
I think if I remember correctly, his CSD that we looked at yesterday was like plus 17 or something at 14 minutes. It was crazy. Talk to me about the mid lane matchup, Vetheo versus Humanoid, young versus old.
I think this is going to be probably the most pivotal part of this matchup today, because when we think about bot lane, I think you have to give that advantage over towards Fnatic. I think the HiRit is a little bit hit or miss, but I think you can make the same argument about Wunder based on his performance so far, at least so far in this split. And this mid-jungle duo is going to be so important. Vetheo does what he often does at the beginning of the split, which is perform. And Humanoid, I think, is still warming up a little bit, but you do know that when you enable Humanoid as a mid laner, he definitely pops off. So I think that which mid laner is able to get the advantage is going to be very important.
It will. Will this sway your opinion here? We have a tweet from Vetheo saying, tomorrow, this was shared yesterday, Fnatic need to keep my 100% regular season win rate. I'm coming for you, Razork. Now, the interesting word is, tomorrow Fnatic need to keep my win rate. The implication being, Fnatic must throw for me to win.
No, that was a comma there. He said, tomorrow Fnatic, comma.
Okay, I didn't have that in my prompt. Okay. Now, we're nearly ready for picks and bans. We talked about some of the pivotal roles that will have an impact on who's going to win. Give me your prediction and how they will pick up that victory.
So I will be predicting Fnatic. I think the biggest difference between the two is when it comes to team fighting, this bot lane for Fnatic just kind of feels unrivaled right now. Perhaps we'll see that shift next week when they play against Rogue, but for the time being, when it comes to the 5v5s, which is what a lot of these games are devolving around, as long as Upset and Hilly have something they can do something on, I think I'm going to favor Fnatic.
Trouble?
I'm not going to be sassy today. I think I'm also going to side with Fnatic. I think when it comes to the top side of the map as well, Wunder has shown that he can keep on his own more than HiRit has. We have seen HiRit lose in favorable matchups for himself, whilst Wunder outplayed the heck out of enemies 1v3 under his tower, so I'll give the edge to Fnatic.
Unfortunately, you're both wrong because I believe in the power of love, and Deficio will get an extra kiss if Misfits win. Over to you, Caedrel and Drakos.
Wow. I don't know what you kissing Deficio has to do with the performance of the 5 players of Misfits on stage today, but maybe they also one extra kiss from Trevor. I'm not exactly
trying
sure.
harder.
Well, yeah, I'm like some intangibles. It's hard to calculate the value of that proposition. Exactly. So we'll move on, I think, safe to say. Misfits versus Fnatic, as highlighted on the desk. Fnatic favored, to be certain. Misfits have stole a win yesterday, and Mersa did have that excellent play, but that was a very slightly Excel-favored game all the way up until they threw it completely in that single fight. So, gonna have to see what Misfits bring to the table in the early game today. If they can, again, keep it close, or if Fnatic is able to run away with it.
And we heard it from Mersa in the interview afterwards. He said, like, look, our draft couldn't really do anything apart from skirmish, so we had to keep up everything. But then we won the skirmish, and yeah, the game was just over from there. We'll see if we see more proactivity from lanes or just kind of tending towards skirmish and teamfights more. I think both styles work. We saw Rogue with lanes. We've seen Rogue with teamfights. They seem to have put their hands in every kind of pot, every kind of jar of draft so far. And that's just the start of spring, right? Finding your groove, finding your comfort, finding your style.
Things I am the most interested in, Dask already highlighted it. Humanoid versus Vetheo in the mid lane, very exciting. The matchup in top lane, as in what champions they're going to pick up. And last, and certainly not least, Hylissang. Is it another Zillion game, or are we going to get some more traditional playmakers in his hands? Things to keep an eye on as we head to picks and bans. The Victor, the Diana, Lee Sin, banned away. 3 pretty standard ones so far. See if something like the Caitlyn hits the bench, or what else will come through.
Lee Sin Thresh already spells Jarvan to me from Misfits. We'll see if that's the priority, because Jarvan loses 1v1 to Lee Sin and Thresh counters the ultimate, right? So I think Fnatic will read that like a book the second those 2 bans come out. We'll see if they do anything about it. Jinx, Aphelios, Caitlyn still up, Renekton still up, TF still up. We're looking at a lot of overpowered champions that'll be available. It's just a case of what can you trade off. That's the thought process in the draft here. It's like, well, we ban Viego now. They might first pick Jarvan or something, but then we can get, I don't know, TF Renekton, and then maybe we can get a jungler on 3, look for a Nidalee or something. And that's how you dissect the draft. You try to put yourself 2 or 3 steps ahead and put yourself in the enemy team's shoes. But yeah, I don't know if Wunder, Fnatic will look for that, but you can see them discussing it. If I pick this, will you be able to pick this on 2-3? And if they do pick it away, do you have a counter for it? Because there's so many strong champions up.
Because it's easy to say, hey, easy Jinx, pick up here, but then the instant Jarvan's response would come through. Obviously pretty strong in mobile champions like that. Instead, they're going to go for the Xin. Very aware of this potential trade, but it does mean that Misfits feel like it could be a pretty easy Jinx pick up here. You definitely don't have to force it, but Jarvan is definitely the last of the high-tier remaining junglers.
Exactly. Lee Sin, Viego ban. Maybe they were like, okay, you pick Jarvan, we have something into it. If they don't, we'll pick Jarvan ourselves. And now Fnatic probably think, well, TF and Renekton are open. Are we going to pick those on 2-3? So a lot of discussion going on. Jinx, Jarvan for Misfits. We'll see what Fnatic want to opt into. You can pick full bot lane here. In the LCK, it's very common for things like Ezreal, Yuumi right now, for teams like Gen G, which will do really well into the Jarvan. Yuumi does really well with Xin Zhao. Can look for Gwen on 4-5 perhaps as well. But champions like TF are open. Do you really want to let them slip through the trap, especially when you have someone like Humanoid on your team, who is a big TF connoisseur?
Absolutely is. I think it's going to be the Twisted Fate. He wanted to tease us. He wanted to bait us just a little bit, but Twisted Fate lock-in feels pretty easy. Nice setup coming in from Xin as well. Gold card into the Xin combo. Easy, easy kills on side lanes.
Look at that picture.
There you go. Surprise! That's what he's going to say when he comes in on the Destiny in the side lane. Woo!
Good one,
Thank you.
You're really hyped up for his Destiny now. Oh, Wunder's Akali.
There it is.
Now,
all right.
I will say it was a little bit underwhelming in their game versus Astralis. He did build a tank build, didn't find much, but there's the instance response from Misfits. You can see this is all pre-planned, right? We know TF's going to the draft. We know we're taking Jarvan. We know they're going to pick it. There's our answers. This is probably one of the scenarios both teams went through. Sylas locked in, really good into Akali, really good into TF. 2 very nice ultimates for him to take away. And now it's just a case of supports and bot lane for Fnatic.
Well, and if we're going to PvE through the early game, you know that's certainly going to favor Twisted Fate. Would love to get to level 6. But if we have a little bit more aggressive, you got the Abscond Abduct along with the EQ combo, the Flag and Drag coming in from J4. Certainly Humanoid has to play with a certain amount of respect there in the mid lane. Even a cleanse not going to save that knockup. So a lot of potential early game playmaking from the side of Misfits in terms of what their jungle mid brings to the table. So something that I want to watch, something I want to keep track of as we look further in this draft. For now, Rakan being banned away, Nautilus being banned away, limiting the supports that can pair up with these explosive junglers, trying to stop some of that playmaking.
So the last ban for Misfits here is Leona still up. I think Braum would be a useful champion for Misfits if Fnatic blind pick and engage support. But that means you'd have to pick your top on 5. But Akali's already showing, so I think Misfits know they're getting counter pick support. They're just going to ban away OPs. I mean, Lucian Nami taken away, Xayah Rakan taken away, and Hylissang's Rakan, more importantly, taken away. Last ban for Fnatic here. Will they ban a top laner? Something like Gwen, perhaps, into the Akali, which is kind of slightly Gwen favored until 6, but no, Lulu already taken off the board. Stop the Jinx Lulu. And now Misfits expecting top here, and then maybe support on 5 just to get value out of counter pick red side. Otherwise, if they think Leona is extremely strong right now, they could pick it up themselves. But Gragas top makes a lot of sense. Into the Akali. does well, and very good into TF as well because you're quite tanky. Double AP solo lanes means that the Gragas has one kind of defensive item to build towards, or defensive stat to build towards in magic resist. And then of course when they play two men with the TF ult on side lane, Gragas can really easily escape and live through that.
And I like the sheer amount of playmaking on the side here. You've got easy stolen TF ult to show up in a side lane for Vetheo, you've got the Cask, you've got the J4, all of this set up to really protect Neon if we are able to get to that point, but still some power and skirmishes as well. Misfits composition really coming together. That said, this Caitlyn has been banned so much. Now we get to see what Hylissang blind picks here. Caitlyn Lux potentially, very, very powerful duo lane. Not a lot. There are matchups that lose gracefully, and there are matchups that lose horribly into the Lux, but production potentially teasing us earlier with the Braum hover over. Hylissang Braum.
The problem with the Braum blind pick, I mean, the good thing is Rakan's banned away. If you blind pick Braum, Rakan will get instantly slammed and locked in, but that's not the case. I think range support here is probably the best for Misfits. Things like Karma could get a lot of value into this Caitlyn Braum lane because Caitlyn wants to win lane and push you in. With a Braum by her side, it makes it very difficult. Things like Soraka, Sona, yeah, these are the champions that I think Misfits are probably thinking about against the comp of Fnatic. Could go for engage support because you have Sylas, Jarvan, Gragas, but I think the range support just benefits the lane so much more.
I do like the scaling aspect of Braum, though. That Unbreakable Shield is so incredibly valuable against the Gragas Cask, against the Jinx in the late game, but now the Yuumi set up to pair with the Sylas is a truly terrifying sight if Misfits are able to get a lead and move that into the mid game.
Yeah, Misfits have a lot of counters to what Fnatic have thrown at them. You pick Akali, we're going to go Gragas into your TF Akali. You pick TF Akali, we're going to go Sylas into it. You've got a Braum, we're going to go range support. So a lot of good answers for them, which has actually rounded them out into a very nice team fighting composition, which makes a lot of sense front to back. Just the Jinx doesn't have that much peel from the Akali in terms of CC, but the Yuumi does have a lot of tools to provide, like Exhaust, Ignite. And the good thing is if Vetheo takes the TF ultimate, he can use it to spot out the Akali in team fights in the Shroud. So team fights for Misfits. If Sylas is ahead, he can go on the side lane for 1-4. Fnatic have a really strong 1-3-1, right? Picks is what they're looking at. The only struggle they have is the Braum doesn't really fit their comp very well. It's very good at dealing with these divers, but they need to play over side lane.
Absolutely do. See how much value you can get out of that Braum passive as well as the Braum shield, but in the meantime, not looking like the strongest, most explosive pick that Hylissang could pick up. Does make picking the Yuumi for Mersa that much easier in the early laning phase, but eyes on upset and Hylissang inevitably because they are one of the strongest, if not the strongest bottom lane in the LEC. See if they can shake things up and change our perceptions as we get ready for our fourth game of the day, Fnatic versus Misfits. Would it be Fnatic if they weren't 5 stacked? Well, it's 4 stacked, sorry. Ooh, not very Fnatic. They have to group as 5 first. Now it's Fnatic.
They're gonna look for level 1. Hylissang can throw a Q into the bush. There's no way he flashes over, right? I mean, that would be absolute Giga Chad move, but no, he's gonna hit the Q.
There's a cat attached to Vetheo. Q.
They want to force something. I think maybe Fnatic's logic here is, well, you're playing Jinx, Yuumi, and you want to push in my Caitlyn lane. How about a split map? We have Braum level 1. Try and fight us. Maybe that's the logic here, because Fnatic aren't leaving this jungle right now. If they keep a split map, that means that their jungle will be bot side for at least the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game.
And disrupting Jarvan pathing in the early game is massive because J4 level 1 is trash. So taking that out is going to be a big deal. Neon as well, isolated under the tower. I don't think they're going to fish for a dive here. Well, both sides will have good information. We could see a potential 3v3 on the bottom side. J4 and the Yuumi now coming down.
Yeah, the HiRit's around. He can walk into this jungle, make it a 5 versus 3, and then TP top. It's worth it because it stops the split map and plays to their win condition. So I think Fnatic might just have to walk away here. But they're thinking about taking the fight. Sylas is around, very indecisive.
Yuumi level 1, not good. Her advantage is she has 2 combat sums. Braum level 1, incredibly oppressive. Concussive blows is ludicrously OP at level 1.
But Fnatic have waited so long that HiRit will show top now, and they should get full information. Humanoid can push in midwave as fast as they want, but Upset says, I need to go to lane. Let's just drop this. Shlatan's going to go to Wolves to get level 2 instead, and the split map has not worked out.
Has not. The question is, who is this going to hurt more? The J4 that has to clear solo or the Xin that has to clear solo? Now, keep in mind, Razork's pretty heavily delayed here as we see a bit of trading in the mid lane. So we'll keep our eyes on the jungle pathing loosely as we check in on some of these mid lane matchup, or rather the solo lane matchups. Topside tank v tank is to be expected. Maybe some aggressive early trading here, but nothing too explosive quite yet.
Yeah, expecting the Chem Tank Akali build to come out again from Wunder. And HiRit will get a bit bullied in this matchup, of course. Akali has the Ignite as well, so a lot of kill pressure, but Gragas is just a negator. He's just going to stop everyone engaging. He's going to look for engages if he wants and if he sees angles, and this champion has just been so prevalent as a answer to almost every top laner right now in the meta. Deals with Jace, deals with Camille lanes, deals with Akali lanes, deals with pretty much everything, and just gives you some beefy frontline in the mid to late game.
Yeah, makes really good use of the Chem Tank as well as the Fimbulwinter, which are two relatively powerful items, all things considered. So always good to see Gragas on the top side. Here going against a master of Gragas himself in Wunder. We'll see what he can do. Keep in mind, the difference in summoner spells, the Flash versus the Ignite. So Wunder maybe more immediate combat power. Is here a bit more potential playmaking.
Yeah, the good thing for Misfits in this cross map is they knew Razork went to red buff after invading this blue, which means they know Razork has to path up, which means that Misfits can play bot lane really aggressively, and you can see they already can walk past the wave and look for aggressive trades in this ranged matchup. They're gonna have to be careful soon though. Misfits will need to get information on Razork and figure out where he is. That's what Vetheo is trying to do right now.
Vetheo not going to spot him. They're going to see the ward there, but the ward will, in the end, spot Razork out. So they know at least that he's on top side. No blue buff means they can feel pretty confident that he has taken the scuttle and is now returning to that. Approximate information, but still good to have nonetheless.
And that's exactly what will happen. Misfits bot lane will walk up, start trading really aggressively the second they see Razork. And for once, I want to say Fnatic don't have a winning bot lane.
Yeah.
They got countered on support. The matchup is not winning and in their favor as much as they maybe would like to, because this team we know really loves to play for bot side, and now they're going to struggle. So Misfits sitting pretty comfortably right now. Shlatan probably going to base after these Krugs and move towards bot side to support this Jinx Yuumi lane.
Yeah. And you know, the all-in potential when a jungler does get here is big, or maybe even sooner. 3 stacks. Good use of the traps there from Neon, but he's out of mana now. It's going to be a little bit harder as more trades come through. Exhaust still up and available for Mersa as well.
Doesn't have cookies either. He has lethal tempo and domination second as Vetheo takes a trade from Humanoid. So his mana will be low for the rest of this lane phase. You can see the pings from Shlatan coming out of base now, going towards his bot grab. Razork did red Raptors into top side, left his Krugs up and then backtracked down. Good ward from Misfits though. Will spot him if he looks for some kind of gank here. Wave pushing into Misfits as well.
Yeah. So far, Misfits doing a relatively good job of weathering what can be a difficult lane against the Caitlyn. The Braum obviously bringing that power down overall, but the Razork is going to be the big, scary thing to deal with right now. Again, stacking concussive blows into the 3 Talon Strike. Very easy way to lock someone down and take them out. This is a classic Hylissang maneuver. Leaping forward. Is going to get caught out here. Just trying to push the wave in for now.
So Misfits can read the play very easily because Hylissang has sweeper and he uses it in the middle of the lane. They see Braum sweeping the lane when the wave's pushing into them. It's very obvious that someone's behind him, otherwise he wouldn't sweep it. Wants to make sure that his jungler can get in unspotted. So Misfits playing a little bit up here, making sure they can't die. And now they're just going to push in the wave and take a base themselves. I think Razork wasn't really there to look for any action. He was just there to make sure the wave can crash. And Hylissang's going to do a Hylissang thing here where he's going to tank the wave for a freeze and force Misfits bot lane to stay.
Oh.
Will he die for it? We've seen him die for it before, but this time around, he's a changed man. He's just going to let it crash, and he's going to have to base himself after these 2 minis.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if they stuck around. Got too greedy, but the fact that we know it's coming means that Hylissang has done it a lot. Misfits, of course, expect it to be coming as well. We've seen other supports pick this strategy up.
Yeah, he will stay to help upset push out. But yeah, won't be able to freeze. Could have really hurt Misfits' bot lane tempo there by just freezing it, forcing him to stay, tanking the wave a bit. And he ended up buying a little bit of time. So quiet early game for now. No junglers have fancied themselves a dragon start. I think Misfits could look for it soon with this constant pushing bot lane. Vetheo is 6, so he can match Humanoid on the map. Shlatan will find Razork here, though.
This is big. Shlatan a little bit ahead. We know Razork spent a decent amount of time on the bottom side. That's going to cost him. He was also behind a bit in the initial jungle clear due to the level 1. So being down a level, definitely not what you want. Level 6, very important for both the Xin and the J4. And as you highlighted, Vetheo and Humanoid both level 6. A lot of potential playmaking here. Vetheo has burned his TP to come back to lane, whereas Humanoid has not. So advantages to Humanoid for now.
Yeah, top just constantly pushing in for Fnatic. Wunder sitting comfortably up there. It's just a case of when Fnatic wants to pull the trigger with his TF ultimate. It's either a case of Shlatan overextending in their jungle and getting collapsed on, or Fnatic pushing in mid like this, moving into bot side, starting a dragon and forcing Misfits to walk into them, which is exactly what they're going to do. I don't think Misfits are going to be in time at all to contest this. We'll see if Shlatan looks for something on the top side of the map when he hears the dragon die.
Yeah, HiRit has to TP back to catch the wave there. That's going to be his first buy. You can see CDR boots coming out very quickly. CDR, very important stat for Gragas. And that is going to be an uncontested early Drake. Good use of the bot priority the Fnatic were able to use, as well as the pressure on the top side to stop any potential TP from HiRit.
Yeah, and look at Shlatan. He's walked into Razork's top side jungle looking for jungle camps to take away, and he's realized, well, there's nothing here. I won't get anything for this dragon, just a deep ward to spot him out later on. Maybe I can look for a top gank.
Body slam forward. Stacking a bit there. Really hard to kill Akali in this context.
Tank Akali with so much mobility. Really hard for Jarvan to get on top of her. Good pick from Fnatic, of course, because of the mobility. We'll see how it pays off later on. But for now, Shlatan will just get a top grab and base, go back towards bot side. Herald in 30 seconds. We'll see if either team wants to push out bot or send their jungler towards the top side of the map.
Well, one thing to keep your eye on as well for the side of Fnatic is grievous wounds. There are 2 ignites. Maybe Fnatic feel like that's enough, but you are against a Sylas and a Yuumi, 2 champions heavily reliant on healing to be successful.
Yeah, look at Vetheo, down a little bit in CS. Down 10 CS because of the matchups quite hard early on, but scales very well. And Vetheo and Humanoid are 2 mid laners of different generations. You know, you've got Vetheo just came in fresh last year, and Humanoid has been here for 2 years, right? So you had the era of mids where it went Caps, and then it went Humanoid Larson, and now we've got players like Vetheo coming in, the next generation coming in with Dior. And you can see Veteo's had a fantastic split so far. High KP, with his team in general, high gold differences, really good clutch fights, especially with the predicts on the Ezreal and stuff like this. So good so far, and of course Veteo's name in his solo queue, his summoner name is LEC 2022 Spring MVP. And he's got a lot of MVPs already.
Yeah, it definitely has 3 Kia Player of the Game votes, and it makes sense. You can see Fnatic when they've been winning. It's been a team show. Definitely, you've seen a Humanoid TF games here and there, but when Misfits have been winning, Vetheo really has been the star. Mersa yesterday was the big factor in that team fight on Leona, but overall, Vetheo rather feels like the big consistent factor for Misfits. So, and he's set up to do so. Again, to be that carry now that he has the Sylas in his hands. We'll see if Humanoid can make some plays across the map, if they can slow this down. So we move just a little bit further into the game. For now, Fnatic, bot lane still suffering here. Pressure still in favor of Misfits, but maybe they can start to fire back once they get some items under their belt.
Yeah, we'll see where Razork chooses to Herald, because now Humanoid swapped to Ignite with Spell, but will get blue buff, so this TF will be really strong on the map. Almost 10 CS per minute for Humanoid after this mid wave. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the Dragon. Both teams playing it slow. I mean, it's beneficial for Misfits to scale, because when Sylas gets 1 item, he will be really hard, really strong in the mid jungle 2v2s, and their bot lane will scale really well with the Jinx Yuumi. But then for Fnatic, Wunder needs his chem tank. Humanoid could use an Everfrost as well, so I think everyone's just kind of waiting for 1 item before they pull the trigger on anything. And the thing is with TF is, yes, you can use your ultimate to a side lane to make a play happen, but if there's nothing there, obviously you can't. And the second thing is, having that ultimate up is pressure on the map by itself, right? Shlatan knows TF has ultimate this whole time, so he can't go too deep in the jungle. Has to be really, really careful. So it is a form of pressure, but here he goes.
Ulti going in. Yuumi ulti going to be burned out as well. That's going to be the stun card. Easy follow-up. Q not going to hit for Braum. That is crucial. Misfits able to walk out alive.
Okay, pressure relieved on the map for Fnatic. All they use is a cleanse and a flash, but that's going to come to bite them back when Fnatic revisit bot side in a couple minutes' time. Vetheo gets a mid push, and he knows the bot side of the map is struggling. We'll see if they can collapse onto Wunder. No Herald up. Dragon still up, still away. 1 minute away. And that's just going to be that. Fnatic gets sums out of Neon. That's going to help the Dragon fight in 1 minute's time. Razork be face checking
waiting over the wall against his former team. Big damage now coming in. An easy first blood for the side of Misfits.
Razork should have read that play. Wunder's looking for something. Will pop the Shroud.
Vetheo has to be careful here. Ignite already burned just to make sure he can't get any healing back. Tries to dash back to the Shroud, but Shlatan is there with a clean EQ to deny it.
Yeah, if Wunder hit that E, he probably would have killed Vetheo, but because he missed, he's going to have to back away. And I think Razork knew something was up there as Humanoid looks for Vetheo.
Much coming in the mid lane. Humanoid getting aggressive. Ignite now burning down, trying to finish up. But Vetheo going in. Vetheo trying to trade back, but the blue card will come out. Shlatan finding one in the meantime as well, taking down Wunder.
Ooh, Observer splitting it there for us. 2 solo kills at the exact same time, and we get to see both. Humanoid capitalizing onto Vetheo's low HP bar that Wunder tried to kill, finished him off, but then Shlatan catches Wunder trying to go back towards top. So 1-for-1 trade, 40 seconds on the Dragon. Wunder won't have ult. 3 plates in mid already for Fnatic.
And just, again, the value of Ignite in both those exchanges. Admittedly, Wonders didn't do a whole lot, but Humanoid having Spellbook, having Ignite in that exchange to make sure the W from Sylas would not turn the fight against him. Big confidence coming in from Humanoid, but something we've gotten used to seeing, as we highlighted earlier. That said, finally, Fnatic have a bit of pressure here on the bottom side. Razork with the Herald up and available. They need to use it soon as they want to grab plate value. But Hylissang, you can see, pushing in.
He wants that grub.
This man is hungry. There are 3 members in the area. Razork now stepping forward onto Vetheo, trying to zone him away as Humanoid is going to get wave pressure mid. All of this effort just to secure mid prio, to lay down this Herald, which will break mid tier 1 and should lead to prio on that second Drake.
Completely right, Drakos. That's exactly what they're going to do. Wunder doesn't have TP up just yet, and here it does, but of course no Unleashed TP for 2 minutes. Upsets in base though, so that's the only drawback of starting this Dragon. You only have 3 members bot side. They're gonna have to wait for now, but still, that mid tower being down means they can push in waves very easily and then move around the map. Misfits are gonna force it now because I think they realized upsets in base and Neon has to push. They know they have a numbers advantage. We'll see if they can find anything. Hylissang no flash. Oh, HiRit.
Oh, damage going through. Keep in mind, Wunder has a completed item right now, so he's a little bit stronger overall in terms of just raw combat stats as he's now trading in with the ultimate. But we're going to have to look down onto the bottom side of the map. 4v4, Shlatan with Mersa mounted up, ready to go in. Neon isolated, no summoner spells. Gold card goes in. Caitlyn damage for follow-up. Everfrost, and that's one dead champion. And now they've leapt right into the fight. Shlatan, what are you doing? Right into death's waiting arms. Vetheo now potentially set up to fall down as well, too. This is the power
It's
of
4 kills,
Braum,
isn't it?
baby. Concussive blows. Down go Misfits. Down go the cat. Commanding fight for Fnatic.
Oh, such good single target damage, such good lockdown from the Braum. 4 kills and a Dragon. Fnatic are just unleashed in this early game. Neon loses both summoners from the first TF ultimate, and we said it's going to come to bite him later on, and it did. He was all alone, and all of Misfits tried to help him out, and everyone died for it. Choo-choo, the in-train begins. Misfits was the conductor, and that's it. 4 kills Fnatic. Dragon already. We'll see what soul it's going to be. Maybe if it's a Cloud Soul, it relieves a little bit of pressure. Yes, it is, but still, against the TF, against the Akali, that's going to hurt.
Absolutely is, and you have to feel for Neon there. He doesn't have a traditional support that can protect him in a situation like that. Yuumi already mounted up Shlatan, as we see again. Mersa, Shlatan teaming up together. Trying to port Razork here. Razork can try and turn, but Red Smite's already down. There's no way he wins this one. The most that he could do is buy time. No ultimate available either. Zap gonna come over the wall in a second here. Not gonna be able to sidestep that, and that's gonna be an easy kill. Although Shlatan's gonna grab it just because of the slight miss on the rocket there from
just
Neon.
wanted to make sure that there's no Braum jumping out of the fog with Guardian all of a sudden saving him. Just get that kill, and as we look at the replay, yeah, Neon's positioning just really, really abused by Fnatic here. I mean, what is he doing? He needs to be with his team. He needs Shlatan in front of him, split off, no summoners, and look at the lockup from TF. Stun card, Everfrost, Braum, and then watch Hylissang. He knows how won the fight is. Watch his positioning. As he tags Shlatan, he instantly starts running towards the top side because he knows he wants to cut off Vetheo with no flash as well. Preemptively thinking ahead as to what could come. Razork follows up with the flash, make sure the stun lands, and just so much CC from Hylissang. Frontline engaging on this Braum.
And Humanoid showing up when it matters, finding that pick, finding that angle, and then the successive kills that come out when a Braum gets ahead in a team fight. So incredibly oppressive. 3K gold lead, 2 dragons and a tower, 2 Fnatic's name. They are massively far ahead.
And something I just want to mention here is the tier on Sylas' Vetheo. I'm not really sure what he's building towards. Maybe he's going Archangels, maybe he's going Fimbulwinter. I'm not sure at all because I haven't seen any tier Sylas. I'm looking right now at Vetheo's solo queue match history. He didn't build a single tier on Sylas either.
I just want to theory craft with you for a brief moment here.
Okay.
So Fimbulwinter could be really strong because you are against a tank Akali and you're against a Twisted Fate who does not have a huge damage profile. And Caitlyn also not known as a massive sustained damage AD carry. She does do big damage and she will kill people, but there is an argument to be made that tanky stats are good here for Vetheo. You've got the Conqueror as well. You have a ton of innate healing.
I just realized with this Vetheo build, he went Lucidity Boots on Sylas, which is great for skirmishes, but against TF Akali Braum, I feel like he really needs tenacity, especially when he doesn't have Unflinching, and he has Inspiration second, but hold that thought.
That thought, damage coming in. Wunder's going to need to find a way out of this one. Good
nice
sidestep on the cask. Zap's still going to connect. Rocket going in. Leap out from Wunder. He's playing it with so much confidence, but all of Misfits now descending. Flag and drag forward. Razork now isolated and locked up. Ultimate available. He can stop anyone else from doing damage, but they've got enough members on top of it. Braum now coming in to disrupt the fight. Razork still alive, leaping out to safety. Neon isolated in the pit. Gale forced back out to safety, but Humanoid 3 levels above him. Fnatic again finding a fight. Razork still alive. Vetheo trying to heal up. He's got the stolen ultimate. He leaves on the wall. He finishes off Hylissang. Mersa there to try to body block, but upset. Now fishing for kills. The cat getting chased down. 2 members of Fnatic on the top side chasing down Neon and HiRit, but Mersa, well, more than one way to skin a cat, and that is certainly one of them.
3 for 1 for Fnatic. They're going to get the Herald as well. Only Hylissang dies. I think that fight was just clutched out by Vetheo using the ultimate from Razork. Bought so much time. If he died, which he should have in that chain CC from the Braum stun into the Caitlyn trap, then they would have ran them over. But no, manages to trade one back by flashing over the wall. Good presence of mind from Vetheo in such a dire situation. It all started with Wunder getting caught. Really fancy feat here to dodge away from HiRit's cask. He had the ultimate if he wanted to use it. The R2, he could use it here to dash away, but no, just sidesteps.
R1, total confidence.
And then from there, the Braum Caitlyn just take over the fight. Rocket misses. We can see why TF is so powerful in the meta right now with Rapid Fire, Everfrost, so much lockup CC in here. Razork was going to drop, but his ultimate buys him time. And then watch Vetheo on the side. He tries to impact the fight, but as soon as he comes in, he gets tagged by the Braum. And the second the stun hits him, he should just die here. The trap hits him, that's it, he's gone, no tenacity. takes Razork's ult, buys time by knocking them all back, doesn't die, flashes over the wall, good presence mind, but still ends up falling to Upset.
And the way that Fnatic can control space with this composition, you have Braum E, you have Xin Zhao Ultimate, you have Gold Card Rapid Fire Cannon from Twisted Fate.
You have Akali Shroud.
You have Akali Shroud. It's so hard for Misfits to find the right angle,
Yeah.
the right engage, the right target, because there are so many tools to disrupt them, to control this space around these objectives. And if they can all pile in on a single target, maybe, but if they're split for even a moment, Fnatic can disrupt that instantly.
Yeah, Fnatic own the map right now. Here comes Humanoid again.
Locked up, there's the cleanse, might not be enough. He's got more than enough CC there.
Okay.
Goes golden for style points. It was close. Razork now backing away, but Fnatic can just descend upon this fight. Ulti coming out. Flag Drag is going to connect
traps.
Razork. The lockup now coming in.
Oh, another one.
The clown car. Oh, the int train has begun. Misfits, there was not a fight to be had there, but they took it anyway.
Oh, Hylissang's flashing over the wall.
Wunder going to try to finish this one. Lockup CC going to come through. Vetheo trying to get tricky and make his way out of this one. Dash out to safety. He will manage to live. Well played from Vetheo, but not going to amount to much yet.
Yeah, nice play there to take away the Akali ult to get the mobility. Misfits know they have to punish this. They're being dove at their tier 2, 17, 18 minutes in. Their AD carry can't even catch waves at their mid tier 2, and they're just getting collapsed on. They tried to force something there, found nothing, and looking at Vetheo's build, he's going to go towards Archangel's Staff for that ability haste. But this is the third dragon for Fnatic. 3 items on Twisted Fate at 18 minutes into the game. Upset sitting at 404, probably sitting on a lot of gold as well. Yeah, Misfits, you can't really blame them for trying to TP in there and punishing what Fnatic's doing, because if you let them get away with that, then they're just going to end up winning the game no matter what.
Now we're going to continue to step in. Hylissang and Razork versus the world unbreakable. The block try some of the follow-up, but there should be 2 quick kills, 2 shutdowns over to the side of Misfits. Some gold back here, still at a 6k gold deficit, but it's a start for Misfits. And quickly, Caedrel, I think good that you highlight the build there, because almost every champion I liked to build, Seraph's on, felt worse after this change, but Sylas is probably one of the few who loves that much ability haste. The more that man can push W, the happier he is.
Yeah, but I just wonder how much damage the Sylas does. I mean, with these Lucidity Boots and the ability haste, he has a lot of ability haste and a lot of CDR. It's just a case of, like, how much damage does it do, and how much uptime do you have against Caitlyn, Braum, TF, right? You really can't move stun card, trap, Braum passive, trap, stun card, trap.
And
like,
look,
he's help!
He's got the legend tenacity for sure, but I agree. It doesn't feel good on the stun duration front. Maybe he's hoping that if they burn... no, it's a bad idea. Humanoid now running. HiRit fishing for a play here.
But the ult went the other
back.
way. That had to go the others.
But Shlatan's coming out. They've baited him into a
Yes,
false sense of security. The flash out. Humanoid trying to get tricky with it.
Okay.
But that's an 800 gold shutdown. That's a start for Misfits. What is it going to cost them, however? Yes, they will break that tower, but Upset and Hylissang already pushing in the mid lane. Neon has to be careful here because that's a level 12 Upset. Just going to throw down a bit of damage onto Neon.
Yeah, it will be an objective bounty top, but the Herald bots from Fnatic should respond a lot quicker. Bot tier 2 will fall. Can they get at bot tier 3? They're going to base now, I think. Misfits, no, they're going to stay. But they're up against the Herald. Upset's rotating with Hylissang towards top side. Razork's dropped away from mid, so I think Misfits just looking for another pick here. There's Hylissang.
in no man's land. Upset in the area, but maybe they can get something done here. Vetheo coming in as well. They need to try to isolate and lock down a target before the fight gets any worse. There's the TP coming in off to the side. Wunder now descending. Vetheo waiting for the Ignite to take away before he uses the W. Now leaping with the stolen Akali ultimate. Wunder hand-delivering that ultimate, and that means he's going to get at least 1 back down. Mersa trying to body block when he can. Healing coming in, not enough. Vetheo clean on the mechanics, but he just doesn't have the stats he needs. He doesn't have the team members to help him. It's a double kill for Upset.
Yeah, lethal tempo fully procced. Upset was free hitting the entire fight, just tossing traps all around on top of the CC of Misfits. Actually preemptively dropped a trap on top of himself so that when Vetheo committed, maybe it would hit, and in the end it did, and that's just going to be barren for Fnatic. Wunder TP's in. Humanoid's around now after getting dove top. No one of Misfits in the area to contest. Maybe Neon can get that bot tower for the objective bounty, but with this Baron, 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the Soul, that's what Fnatic will be looking at.
And again, commanding game for Fnatic. And I think it's just been a little bit slow in that early game, but the second they went bottom, they got those summoner spells from Neon, followed up into that next dragon fight. It was well timed, well calculated by Fnatic to get those small advantages, to turn them into something bigger at that dragon fight. And ever since that moment where Neon was caught out on the side, feels like Misfits have not been able to find a clean fight back in this game.
Yeah, so Fnatic collapsing on Misfits here, who are looking for a pick so they can maybe force an objective, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So stun from the Braum into trap. The trap was placed earlier on, but look at Upset. Just watch Upset the entire fight. Fully untouched, free hitting. Vetheo doesn't see the trap, gets hit. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, Vetheo tries his best to turn the fight, as he did previously, to get a kill, but the only person who's actually dying in these fights is Hylissang, and he's happy to do so. Ends up in a Baron. And now Fnatic just going to push in here. Lots of standing gold on the map as well. Still all the top towers alive. But it looks like they're just going to go down mid for now.
And look, you called Vetheo Spring 2022 MVP. That's at least what he's called in game. But I think we have to give respect to a man who's been playing very well recently, Caedrel, to the surprise of no one. It's a Red Bull Baron power play. That's a good graphic. That's an important one. Shout out to Red Bull. But also this one. Yeah, Hylissang.
First in KDA, 10.2. Is that Hylissang?
Bad timing. It's time to focus on the fight. Now kicking off. Gold card goes in, buying a bit of space with the stolen Xin Zhao ultimate. Hylissang isolated and off to the side. Razork now going in, looking for the follow-up. Traps set up for Humanoid and upset to retreat into, but Misfits continuing to fight down, hoping desperately for a reset, but Wunder is just now entering the fight. Shlatan buying as much space again as he can. Razork ultimate is falling away. Maybe they can get a kill back, but Wunder is doing so much damage in the back line. Here comes Humanoid with the ultimate, and Fnatic are going to take the fight.
Hail Mary fight from Misfits. They had to force something. They knew the siege. The second the siege came in from the Caitlyn, their towers would fall. So let's just force away from the towers in the first place. It looked okay at the start, but Fnatic are just way too far ahead. And that graphic you just showed me, Drakos, Hylissang's first in KDA, 10.2. That must be a lie. That's not the Hylissang I know.
Look, man.
He had the most deaths of the split. He was happy with the most deaths of the split. Now he's a changed man.
That he is. Never forget it. Hylissang 10.2. Fnatic gonna find another win. Incredible stats for Hylissang. Incredible stats for all of Fnatic. 8-0-5.
Misfits is respawning.
Misfits are respawning, but it does not matter. Fnatic can hit that Nexus one more time and remain undefeated in the LEC.
Wow, 23 minutes game from Fnatic. They've had some games which are sloppy. The game against Astralis went on a bit too long. I think they know that, but that was clean and clinical. A little bit scrappy in some of the fights, but every single time Misfits threw one punch, Fnatic would throw like 6.
Yeah, that was tough.
And the only punch would hit Hylissang anyway. And he's happy to block those.
It was hard because it looked like every time they were trying to pick an isolated target, they were like, I guess we'll kill Hylissang. Well, that's our consolation prize. Of course, Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Razork, Humanoid, or Hylissang. Those are your 3 options. No wrong choices here. I think across the board, Fnatic, a phenomenal start to the split and certainly looking like a strong title contender at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Humanoid's really finding his footing in this team. You can see his TF is as good as it was last year. Solo killing Vetheo, 3 plates to him. He did so much work on the map. You saw it afterwards. Upset got up and started shaking Humanoid. Maybe he's happy that now he's on the other end of the Humanoid Twisted Fate.
Has to be happy. Of course, we're soon going to be joined by Yamato Cannon for more on Fnatic's win and to preview our match of the week between G2 and Vitality.
It's a banger.
It's an absolute banger.
Obviously can't wait to play against Jankos and Caps. It will be just like fun smashing the org to the ground.
Playing against Perks was always the most fun in Europe. I'm hoping it will be the same kind of feelings when I go up against him.
He's back in Europe and we'll teach him a lesson. On paper they look worse than they ever did, but the rosters on paper don't really mean as much as people think.